So in this child's pose, you want to bring your forehead to the mat and your hips to your heels. Prioritize prioritize forehead to the mat. It's okay if your hips don't touch your heels. And as we land in this child's pose, take some time to begin to become aware of your breath. Take some time to become aware of your internal space. Notice if the breath is fast or slow, smooth or choppy. Feel your belly spread on your inhales. Feel as though you're sinking into the ground on your exhales. As we're in this child's pose, you might find it helpful to take some time and set an intention for your practice. An intention might be something that affirms what you already possess. And let that intention guide you through the next hour or so on your mat. Go ahead and rock your forehead side to side to feel that massage on your forehead. And maybe reach your hands long to the front of the mat so that your elbows, your wrists come off the floor. Feel a stretch in your side body as you inhale. And release as you exhale. You can go ahead and rest your hands back on the mat. And we'll take a moment to take a breath together. First, exhale your air out and feel your body become empty of breath. Take a deep, slow inhale. Then even slower, let it out. Now go ahead and place your palms into the mat and come up onto all fours. Your shoulders are over your wrists. Your knees are about hips width distance. And your spine is straight. You want to feel as though you might be able to set a candle on the top of your back without it falling. Go ahead and on an inhale, we'll come into a cow stretch by lifting our chins, sending our tailbone up, inhaling deeply, and then come into a cat by rounding the spine, sticking the navel in, chin in for your cat. Now inhale, come back into your cow. Exhale, contract into your cat. Now go ahead and take a few more of these stretches on your own at your own pace. And you might even find it feels nice to do some other free movement. Maybe sway the hips, roll the shoulders, roll the neck. Feel as though you are enlivening your body with this movement. Now go ahead and come back into a neutral spine. And we'll do some spinal balancing. Go back to lengthening your spine. Feel that, so that candle is there. Now on your inhale, lift your right arm up, send it towards the front of your space. Now lift your left leg up and send it towards the back of your space. The goal is to go for length rather than height. Feel your fingertips reaching, feel your toes pointing back. Take one more inhale to get really long. And on your exhale, place the hand down and return your knee. Now to do it on the other side, we'll lift our left hand to the front of your mat and also lift your left leg to the back of your space. To length through their hip, then height. That candle is still on your back. And we're going for length here, so get long. Feel your shoulders reaching out of their sockets. Feel your toes pointing to the back of your space. Take one more inhale, get long. And then exhale, place your hand down and your knee down. Maybe do some more stretches, round out the shoulders, round out the spine, shake the hips. And then you're going to take an inhale. Curl your toes under, send your hips up and back, and we'll come into our first downward facing dog. As you arrive in this downward facing dog, no need to be super precise about it just yet. Rather, allow your body to be loose in this downward dog. So maybe shake your head no, nod your head yes. Maybe bend your knees. Maybe take slight hops up if it feels good and if it's available to you. Yeah. Now we'll add some precision. So you want your hands to be about shoulder width distance, or maybe a little bit wider if that feels like it makes it easier for you to relax your shoulders. Press your palms firmly into the mat. Feel your thumb and your pointer finger pressing into the mat so you're making an L shape. Use that shape to go ahead and roll your shoulders apart to get broad in the shoulders. Your feet are about hips width distance and looks as though you could fit your head in between them. And your hips are going up and back. Really feel your tailbone going to the back of your space. Maybe bend the knees if that allows your tailbone to lift higher, and your back is straight. Inhale here, and exhale here. Go ahead and lift your right leg up and back. Take a moment to feel what your hips being square feel like. And get really long in the back of your leg. Now bend your knees and with ease, quietly step your foot in between your hands. Now place your left knee down. Let's come into a low lunge. You might Interlace your hands and place them at the top of your knee. Or you might stay with your hands on the mat. Continue to breathe. Relax the shoulders and try to feel as though your pelvis and your tailbone are straight. Sometimes we might stick our booty out in this pose. Try to make sure your tailbone is straight. Lean a little bit forward to feel that stretch in your hips. Now, if you'd like, reach your hands up towards the sky. Breathe into the stretch. Now go ahead and place your hands back down. Now listen carefully. Place your left hand down on the mat and lift your right arm up to do a spinal twist. Maybe scooch your left shoulder a little bit closer to your right knee to really twist from your spine. Nice, Aisha. You're twisting from the mid part of your body, not just your neck. Take one more inhale and deepen into the twist. Now go ahead and place both hands down. Now let's come into a half split. Put your knee down, yes. Come into a half split by sending your hips back. Your toes are still curled. Your hands are on the left side of your right leg. And then once you've found a space that feels comfortable, go ahead and send your chin towards your right leg if possible. Continue to breathe. Now go ahead and bend the right knee. Send your right leg back to meet the left. And come back into a downward facing dog. Now raise your left leg up and back on your inhale. Feel what it's like to have square hips and get long through the back of that leg. Now go ahead and bend your knees. Step it forward in between your hands. And let's come into a low lunge on the left-hand side. Good. Interlace your fingers. Find your balance. And really feel the stretch in your hip flexors here. Relax the shoulders. Maybe relax the face, relax the jaw. And continue to breathe. Now on your inhale, send your hands up. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, maybe do a little back bend. Now send your hands down towards the mat. Now we'll do a twist on this side by sending our right hand down to the mat and lifting our left arm up. Still low in that front knee if it's available. Sending our right arm in a little bit to kiss the left knee to really get a twist. Nice, cat. Breathe to deepen the twist. Now exhale, send your hands down. And we'll come into a half split by straightening that front leg. You can curl your toes under for this, or your fronts of your feet can be on the mat, whichever allows you to deepen the stretch. You don't want to put too much strain on the back foot. Maybe as you fold over your left knee, your left leg, you consider your intention and maybe allow yourself to fold a little deeper. Take one more inhale to deepen into a sensation. Now exhale, send the left leg back to meet the right. And just come back into downward facing dog. Not gonna float just yet. Now go ahead and bend your knees, look toward the front of the mat. And take careful steps towards the front of the mat. Really feel your feet planted into the earth as you do so. At the front of the mat, we're gonna come into a forward fold. And this is a really important pose, as it is a pose where we allow ourselves to fully let go. There might be anticipation for what comes next. There might be expectation of more work. Allow yourself to let that go and really let gravity take over. Feel your head get heavy. Relax your shoulders. Breathe. Now go ahead and take an inhale and come into a half lift by placing your hands on your shins or your thighs. Your spine is flat. Your chin is tucked a little bit so the crown of your head is going towards the front of your space. Now exhale, forward fold. Now on your inhale, send your hips down. Send your arms up. And we'll come into a chair pose. Your feet are about hips width distance, parallel to the sides of the mat. Your knees are charting back so that they're right on top of your ankles. You still want to be able to see your toes. The weight is in your heels, so much that it might even feel that you might fall back. Really put the weight in your heels. You're sitting lower if you can. And your arms are reaching high. Maybe one day at the side of your ears. Now as you breathe, maybe observe your mind. Maybe observe your discomfort, if there's discomfort. And also observe your strength. Inhale to sit a little bit lower. Nice. Now go ahead and exhale, stand up for a mountain pose. And as you breathe, and as you acquaint yourself with the shape, feel your feet firmly planted into the ground. Feel yourself get tall. Feel as though your ribs are floating off your waist. And if it feels good, feel your fingertips reaching towards the heavens. Now on an inhale, take a slight back bend, get tall. And on your exhale, dive forward back into forward fold. Let it go. On your next inhale, send your hips back and your arms high. Come into another chair pose. See if you can see this chair pose as a way for you to acknowledge and encounter how strong, how powerful you are. So it's not just this thing that I'm doing that's really hard or uncomfortable. It's this thing where I can see just what I'm made of. Now take an inhale, sit a little bit lower, reach your hands a little bit higher. Now stand up and come into mountain pose. On your inhale, go ahead, reach back, reach tall. And on your exhale, dive forward into a forward fold. So you're going to take that once more on your own. You're going to inhale into a chair pose. Stay for as long as you feel is needed. Go to a place where it's challenging, but not aggressive, right? And then stand up into a mountain pose. Take a back bend, forward fold. Now inhale, come into a half lift. Now on your exhale, place your hands on the mat. Step your feet back. We're going to come into an upward push-up plank. Your shoulders are over your wrists. Your hips are in line with your shoulders, maybe a little bit lower. You're on your toes. Your navel is in, you're engaging the core. You're breathing. Good. Go ahead and inhale and feel as though you're pushing the mat down and away. Now on your exhale, bend your elbows about halfway, come halfway off. Your elbows are into your ribs. On an inhale, come into an upward facing dog. The fronts of your feet are on the mat. Your shoulders are down and back. Your chest is forward. Inhale here, stretch the throat. And then on your exhale, send your hips back and up. Come into your downward facing dog. We'll breathe together here. Take a deep inhale and let it out. On your next inhale, go ahead and lift your right leg up and reach it back. And maybe take a moment here to get some free movement. So maybe bend your knees. Imagine you're drawing circles in the sky with your knees. Maybe draw little circles and then draw bigger circles. Maybe do a spiral. Roll out your ankles, wiggle your toes. Now go ahead and inhale. Send your leg up and back. On your exhale, step it through in between your hands. Left foot down into the mat. Rise up into a warrior one. Feel as though your feet are firmly anchored into the ground and providing an energy source that enlivens the rest of your body. Your knee is gliding forward over your ankles, perhaps. Maybe one day your thigh is parallel to the mat. Maybe that day is not today. It's all good. And then from the top, it's just like that lovely mountain pose you found earlier. Maybe try to find square hips by scissoring your thighs, bringing your left hip forward and your right hip back. Nice, Asia. Take an inhale to sit a little bit lower and reach a little bit taller. Now exhale, peel open into warrior two, please. Right. You might need to take a wider stance to accommodate your hips squaring towards the side of the room. You're still sitting low. Try to glide your navel in towards your spine. Sit tall. And try to find the interesting balance between stretching your arms straight and strong, but relaxing the shoulders. If your neck allows it, you're looking over your front hand. If your jaw allows it, you're smiling. Take an inhale, and as you inhale, get wide through the heart space. Feel your chest open. Now exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Place your hands on the mat. Take your right foot back and go ahead and take your flow. Down and up. Exhale to downward facing dog. And you're always welcome during the flow to put your knees on the mat if you feel like it's necessary. You can also make it more challenging if you'd like to do that too. All right, go ahead and lift your left leg up and back. And we'll find some free movement on the left-hand side. Maybe bend your knees. Maybe do something different than you did on the right. Maybe do the exact same thing. But see if you can connect with what your body is telling you it needs and respond to it. On your inhale, send your leg up and back. On your exhale, use your strong core to step your knee in between and your foot in between your hands. Right foot down. And then rise up to a warrior one on the left-hand side. Bending the knee so that it's one day over the ankle and that the thigh is one day parallel to the mat. Reaching tall. And breathing. Squaring your hips by scissoring your thighs, sending your right hip forward and your left hip back. Maybe also rotating the left shoulder back and the right shoulder forward. Inhale as you sit a little bit deeper. Now exhale Find your warrior two. Try to feel the sensation of your feet coming closer together, even though they're not moving. And see if that sensation allows you to feel even more firmly rooted into the ground so that you can gain the awareness that you are held up by your strong legs and your strong feet. And see if that awareness allows you to stretch your arms a little bit wider as you breathe. Relax the shoulders. Maybe look over the front hand if it's available. Take an inhale to breathe into your chest as it opens and to sit a little bit lower. Now take an exhale to cartwheel your hands down. Place your hands on the mat. Step your left foot back to meet the right, and go ahead and take your flow. Really move elegantly through that upward facing dog. Ooh, feel that inhale. Nice. So now you're gonna do warrior one and warrior two on your own. And as you do this, I invite you to remind yourself of your intention. And I invite you to move in a way that feels good and that feels aligned with your breath. Try to inhale and then move. Exhale and then move again. Feel your body doing a dance to the music and to the rhythm that is your own breath. You are here. You are doing this practice. How can you make it a source of love rather than just exercise? Let's go ahead and inhale together. And let it out with a sigh. Lift your right leg, up and back. Step it through, and we'll come back into a warrior one. Now peel open to a warrior two. Sit low, reach wide. Now flip the palm and send your hand up and back like you're drawing a rainbow in your space to come into a reverse warrior. You're still sitting low in that front knee. Good, cat. And your arm is reaching high and long. Your left hand is either behind your back or on the thigh or on the shin. And you're using your strong core in order to keep yourself lifted here. You don't want to crunch into the left-hand side. You want to be supported. Now, as you inhale, feel the oppositional force of sitting a little bit lower as you reach a little bit taller. Beautiful. Now go ahead and cartwheel your hands down. Come back into your upward push-up plank and take your flow. Back in downward facing dog, go ahead and lift your left leg up and back. Use your core to step it through in between your hands. And then rise up into warrior one. And peel open into warrior two. And breathe. Feel your chest and your heart space open. Feel your leg moving over your ankle. Look towards your front palm if you're not already. Flip your hands. Send your hand up, 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 and back, 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 like you're tracing a crescent moon. And find your reverse warrior. Maybe get long in the pelvis by imagining that there's a string attached to your lower stomach that's drawing you up towards the ceiling. Your torso is supporting you. Your legs are supporting you. The earth is obviously supporting you. And as you breathe into this shape that you've created, sit a little bit lower while also reaching a little bit taller. Now on your exhale, cartwheel those hands down. Send your hands to the mat. Step your foot back. Take a flow. Now back in downward facing dog, we remember our intention. We remember our purpose for being here. We remember the love we have for ourselves. And let's go ahead and bend our knees and step or jump towards the front of the mat. Nice. Now hang heavy into a forward fold. Let it all go. Now go ahead and bring your feet to touch. Inch them close together. Your knees are touching, your legs are touching, your toes are touching. And go ahead and sit your hips down and rise your hands up. But listen carefully, your hands are together. And we're going to come into what's called the thunderbolt. So in this position, your hands are together and then your thumbs are interlaced, just your thumbs. You might find that your palms are a little bit separated, and that's totally fine. Just like in chair though, we want to be able to see our toes, so look down, and if you can't see your toes, maybe just gently chart your knees back so that they are over your ankles. Now, as we find our thunderbolt, let's sit a little bit lower and reach our hands a little bit higher. Biceps by ears. Now go ahead and forward fold. Let it all out. Fantastic. Now on an inhale, come back into a thunderbolt, hips down, arms up. Sitting low, lower than you think that you can. Nice. Now go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. Your palms are pressing into each other. Feel the energy source created by your own hands. Your elbows are in a straight line, elbow to elbow. Now on your inhale, puff up the chest by getting a little bit taller and sending your chest back and your shoulders back. Now your exhale, rotate your hands so that your right elbow is over your left knee. You're going to come into a seated prayer twist. So your hips are low in this position while your chest is lifting up. You want to feel your chest as if it's in line with your hands. Use your elbow against your knee to really deepen the twist. And if it's in your practice, you can fly away by separating your hands shoulder to shoulder. Inhale to sit a little bit lower. Now go ahead and bring your hands back together if you separated them. Now come back to center. Now on your inhale, twist to the other side. So as it gets a little bit challenging, as it builds a little bit of heat in your body, remember your intention. Or remember the compassion that you have for yourself that allows you to get through difficult moments and allows you to sustain in moments of heat, both figurative and literal. Fly away or bind if you'd like, if it feels right today. Now go ahead and come back to center. Sit a little bit lower, puff up the chest. And exhale, come into a forward fold. Nice work. Take an inhale and come into a half lift. Now exhale, place your hands on the mat. Step your feet back. And then pause when you get to an upward push-up plank. Okay, we're gonna do one set of something that might be a little bit fun. And you can go ahead, fun in a way, and you can go ahead and put your knees on the mat if you'd like to. Okay, so on your inhale, go ahead and place your left or your right forearm down to the mat. Now send your left forearm down to the mat. Now go ahead and use your right hand to push yourself up. And your left hand to push yourself up. Other side, left arm down to the mat. Right arm down to the mat. And then left arm up. Right arm up. We'll do one more time. Right arm down. Left arm down. Right arm up. Left arm up. Left arm down. Right arm down. Left arm up. Right arm up. Now go ahead and just come into a child's pose. And embrace this period of rest. That is yours. Now come back into downward facing dog, please. And go ahead and lift your right leg up and back. Step it through in between your hands. Rise up into a warrior one. Peel open into a warrior two. Take a moment to adjust a little bit. Now go ahead and send your right elbow to your right knee. Left arm up for this modified side angle. Avoid crunching in the side of your body by feeling as though you're moving your head away from your navel. Now go ahead and send your right arm down, or your left arm down, sorry, and your right arm up for a revolve side angle. Maybe send that left shoulder closer to the right knee to really get that twist. Nice, cat. Look up at your hand if it's available, but do not strain your neck. Now place both hands down. Keep your knee bent, because you can. Now rise up into a warrior two. Stay low, stay low. Nice, good, 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 good. Now go ahead and squeeze your legs straight. Arms parallel to the mat. Send your arm forward, your right arm forward. Now send it down to your chin. And we're coming into a triangle. Excellent choice of the block, Aisha. I need to I remember to do that when I practice. Going shoulder to shoulder. Feel as though your back could lay on the back wall. Maybe send your top shoulder back a little bit. Nice. Now go ahead and release. Send your hands down to the mat. Take your flow, or just go back to downward facing dog. Whichever you feel like is best for you in this particular moment is what I suggest you do. Nice. Now we'll keep it moving. Go ahead and lift your left leg up and back. Step that left leg through with care, with ease. Rise up into that warrior one. Your back leg is down, yes. Fill up that warrior one with your breath and then exhale. Warrior two. Do the adjustments you need. Navel is in. Waist is tall. Mind is centered. Now go ahead and place your left elbow on your left knee. Send your right arm up. We'll come into a side angle. Don't forget about that back leg. That back leg is engaged. See if the back leg can allow you to avoid crunching in your upper body and send your head further away from your navel. Awesome. Now go ahead and place your left hand down and your right arm up for a revolve side angle. And for this revolve side angle, if you need to bring your feet in, your back foot in a little bit, that's a really good choice. So if you need to send your right foot in about like 6 to 8 inches, that might help you with a twist. Or you could just place your knee down. That might help you twist as well. Your heel is down on the mat, your heel isn't lifted. Maybe see if you can bring your shoulder closer to your knee to really deepen the twist. Use of blocks is always very smart. Now go ahead and release. Place your hand down. Your knee is bent. Keeping your knee bent, keeping your knee bent, staying low. And then rise up into warrior two. Stay low, stay low. Nice. Now go ahead and squeeze your legs straight. Come into our triangle. Cool. Send your hand forward, then down and up. Try to feel the sensation of your spine being straight here, and it might help to imagine that your back could just lay perfectly on the back wall. Send your crown to the front of your space, the crown of your head, and breathe. Take one more deep breath into the shape that you have made. And then exhale, send your hands to the mat. Step your feet back. Go ahead and flow, or you can just come right back into a downward dog. Your choice. Beautiful. Now send your right foot up and back. Now bend your knee, sweep it through. We're going to come into what's called a half pigeon. Send your knee to your wrist so that your knee replaces your wrist. Take a moment to square your hips. Your left leg is going back. Your shoulders are relaxed and square. And after you've found a place that feels right to you, go ahead and fold over your right calf. First, seeing if your forearms can touch the mat. Then your hands and your forehead. So we'll be here for about a minute. And I invite you to feel the sensation of your body becoming heavy, your breath becoming long, and your mind becoming light. Sometimes I think that busyness, whether it be of the mind or of action, can be because we don't think that we are enough and that we can do nothing and still be enough, still do enough. I encourage you, if that's true for you today, to know that whatever you're doing right now is enough. Go ahead and very slowly and gently come out this pose. Return to downward facing dog. And then let's find half pigeon on the left-hand side. As we relieve tension in the hips, sometimes it finds other areas of the body. So maybe notice if that's true for you right now. Maybe there's tension in your jaw and your face. Sometimes when I do this, I notice my stomach is tense. Notice it and respond in whatever way feels right to you. Now, very slowly and with all the gentleness that you deserve, go ahead and come out of this pose. And then return to downward facing dog, however you choose to get there. And in this downward facing dog, let's take a minute to maybe observe how it's changed from earlier. A reflection of all the work that you've done. Now let's go ahead and come to standing on our knees, please. We'll come into camel. So place your hands on your lower back. Your knees are about hips width distance. And your inhale, first you're going to send your chest up and out. And then you're slowly going to back bend so that eventually your chest is reaching towards the ceiling or the top of your space. Your shoulder blades create a little pillow to rest your head. And you might find it's available for you to grab onto your heels. You might not. Here is perfectly fine. This is an excellent shape. Whichever shape you choose, your hips are still moving forward and your chest is still gliding up. And your head is back. Maybe you can see the back of your space. Your throat is open. Your eyes are open. Your thoughts are kind. Now let's come out of this pose by going ahead and bringing our hands back to the lower back. And now come to sitting on your heels into our hero pose. And then just take a moment to be. Now move your body with care and ease and love to the center of the mat. And then lie down. Bring your knees into your chest and hug them. They've held you up throughout this practice. Maybe rock side to side. Now come back to lying down as we find our final Shavasana. Feel your body releasing into the ground. Feel your head release, your throat release, your shoulders relax. Relax the torso, the hips. Get heavy in the knees and the legs. Relax the tops of your feet, the soles of your feet, your fingers, your hands. Feel your body get heavy. Thank yourself and find a deep, unabiding gratitude for all that you've done for yourself and for the vibrations that you've sent out to the earth through this practice. And thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. It was a real pleasure. A quote I'm going to say today: how bold one gets when one is sure of being loved. We'll take a final breath together. First, exhale all your air out. Take a really deep inhale in and let it out. I invite you to roll over to one side to come out of your Shavasana. Come into a fetal position. And slowly use your hands to come up into a comfortable sitting position. I invite you to close your practice in whichever way feels right for you today, remembering your intention. And from my heart to yours, thanks so much again. Have a really good day.
Thanks, Michelle. That was awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome.